Hey, how you doing there again, folks? Me again, of course. Brandon Wenzel. Come back at you. Another offering. Off my sampler platter. Yes, indeed, folks. Sampler series of videos I've been doing for a little while now. Go over there, try out food and drink items. I eat stuff and drink stuff, then, folks. I'm going to talk about stuff. I'm going to let you know all that you need to know about hopefully delicious stuff. That time I'm doing this, folks, I'm not going to lie. I didn't know these existed before today. But we'll get to that. Folks, it's super simple format. I'm going to go over there and try out food and or drink items for you. Whilst I'm doing so, I'm yammering on about it for a bit. Whilst I'm doing all that, I'm inside my truck. Whilst I'm doing all that, folks, oh, you better believe it, I'm wearing a super cool shirt. Folks, when I wear super cool shirts, I always like to highlight the super cool shirt. What super cool shirt am I wearing for you today? Happens to be my Heathen Sun shirt. A little bit hard to read what with the text style, but it's a very cool shirt. I like it. If you're unfamiliar with the band Heathen Sun, they are a new generation nu metal band out of North Carolina. I became aware of these guys maybe a couple of years ago. I didn't immediately jump into their stuff, but, I liked what I heard and, kept note of them. And then just a couple of months ago at the time I'm doing this, I was fortunate enough they were actually touring with some other bands that I was out to see. And so I got to see them live for the first time. And man, oh man, that was the crux point for me. It just they were so awesome on stage and the energy they put out. And I loved it. So much so I actually got some videos of their performance. Those videos are on my channel, just in case maybe you want to check them out. If nothing else, I'd be more than happy to kind of point you in the right direction as far as their music goes, because I do think they're a really fantastic band. But anyway, what am I trying for you today, folks? What are we doing here? Why did I not know that these exist? Well, I didn't know that these exist because I guess they just fell through the cracks. Usually I'm pretty good about this stuff, and I even have friends and family who will go over there and hit me up and let me know about new items, but, well, happens to be, boom, it's Ruffles, their limited edition flavor, specifically of the honey habanero variety. Ooh. That sounds like it could be great, or terrible, or somewhere in between, because that's how life works. Let's get a thing for the thing. Looks like, do something like that, I guess. Give them a go. I mean, I really like Ruffles as a chip in general, so I can't imagine these being bad. Though I have to admit, habanero's never been my favorite flavor. It's not even a heat thing, just flavor-wise, it's not. I'm more of a jalapeno guy than a habanero guy. Ooh. That's got a little spank to it. Yeah, that catches on the tongue, man. That habanero. It's not crazy spicy, but it gives you something to think about. Yeah. Okay. Goes a little bit to the back of the throat, but not much. It mostly just kind of lingers on the tongue. Okay. Not bad. I think overall I like these. They got that sweet heat kind of thing, and I like that. I'm a big fan of, if you watch the channel, I like contrasting flavors. One thing I am going to say, though, that I'm very surprised by. I wish the flavor was a bit more impactful. And the reason why I'm surprised by that is because typically Ruffles, in particular, as a chip brand, they tend to bring the flavor. What was it? I think at the end of 2024, we started seeing the all-dressed chips, right? Which is a flavor from Canada that we don't typically get here in America. But all the big chip companies kind of, within the span of a few months, put out their version of it. And the Ruffles version, for me, was far and away the best because it just had that impactful flavor. These have some. They're not unflavorful chips by any means, but I'm not getting I would have expected more of a habanero flavor, although there is some. I would have expected more from the honey, but it's like, I don't know. I kind of feel like maybe they went over there and leaned a little bit too much into the spice aspect of it to sort of carry the rest of the flavors. And I just don't personally feel like it does that. Because, yeah, for me, the flavor that's there is good, but it's not substantial enough. And even the spice that you get, although, like I said, you get a little something, yeah, it just feels lacking. It feels muted compared to what I personally feel like it should be. Which is really a shame, because the flavor that's there is really tasty, and I think that if it had just been pushed a little bit further, these would have made for some really fantastic chips. But as they are, they're okay. Yeah. They don't reach that crescendo that I'm looking for. Again, not bad chips or anything, but like, when I think of other Ruffles flavors, when I think of like jalapeno ranch, what are those ones, like the cheddar cheese ones or whatever the hell they are, or the all dressed, like, again, just really heavy on the flavor. These, yeah, I don't know, maybe because it was a new flavor for them, maybe they decided to play it a little bit safer, or maybe they just cheaped out, let's be honest, it's entirely possible. But yeah, they're good, but they're not as good as they could be. But, 2 questions have to be asked. Would I get them again? Would I recommend them? Sure and sure. I do still like them overall, and I'm even the habanero flavor isn't bothering me. The way that they implemented it, again, with sort of the contrast between that and the bit that you get from the honey, it kind of takes the edge off of it. So it just has sort of a nice, when you get it, it has kind of a nice peppery taste. I would like to see them tweak this and re-release it. Bring it out in a year or so after you kind of worked it out a little bit. But even as is, like, let me put it to you this way. If they did tweak it and they did go over there and amp up the flavor a little bit, I could see these being like some go-to chips for me. I could see really, really being into these. As they are right now, they would not be that, but I could see them grabbing them every so often, because I do like the flavor combinations, and like, they're not poorly executed per se, they're just not living up to their potential. They should get in touch with my middle and high school teachers. We could have something to talk about. If I'm recommending them, still, yeah. They've got a little bit of spice to them, so if you're not into spicy stuff, you might want to avoid them. They're not crazy spicy, though, so... but, they're a limited time thing, and they're not bad chips for what they are. Like, I enjoyed what I was getting from them. I just personally wasn't enjoying them to the extent I was expecting. But that's going to vary from person to person, so you might get more out of it than I did. But like I said, I just, I don't think they're anything holy shit amazing, but they're not bad chips. 5 things before I get out of here. Have yourself a great rest of your day, spectacular rest of your week, monumental rest of your month, stupendous rest of your year. Folks, go over there and have yourselves a truly habanero-tastic rest of your life? Sure, I guess. Again, I'm not the biggest habanero guy, but... Final 2 things. Number 1, try to bring some positivity into the world. It's not always possible. It is, however, always appreciated. But what you do if you can't do it all the time, I know I can't do it all the time. Here's what you're going to do, folks. You're going to try not to be an asshole. Now, folks, it's not always the easiest thing in the world to not be an asshole. Trust me. I know it. I live it. I'm out there every day with you in it. Life can be stressful and frustrating and just bullshit sometimes, folks. And when we find ourselves in situations where we have to deal with said bullshit, it's important we go over there, whenever possible, take a step back, try to mitigate the level of assholishness in our lives, hopefully do better for ourselves and for those around us. Very final thing, folks, do the thing. Whatever the thing is for you, that's what I want you to go out and do. Folks, do you have a personal favorite flavor of Ruffles? I mean, I can go even just like the basic Ruffles, man. Whenever I go over there and get chips and dip, I go with Ruffles, man. They, just better surface area. It just works better. But obviously they have a lot of nice flavors. I think the cheddar and sour cream really good. Again, I love they're all dressed. I bought a lot of those when those came out because I really enjoyed those. So, but let me know your opinion. Anyway.